Hey guys, waiting for the start. We are live. Hello, everybody. Hey, YouTube. Hey, Facebook. Great to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. And my name is Gita, and we're just here to take a little midday, midweek break. Drop a comment below if you're watching this live or if you're watching it on replay. Drop a comment below too. Just say hi, send me a little emoji. I love to feel the love. So the purpose of this is really because starting a new wellness practice or starting a spiritual practice or keeping one going usually takes a little bit of help, usually takes a little bit of accountability, support from some fellow people who are on the same path as you. And it's nice to have a little guidance. And I know that I have certainly benefited from all of those. So I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys. And I really hope you hear this from my heart to yours, that I really love doing this. I love just turning on the camera and teaching and seeing what happens. And hearing from you guys during and after is always just so heartwarming and a nice inspiration for me as well. So as much as like I am inspiring you, yeah, right, you're inspiring me. And I love to do this. So it's just a nice way to share a little time. So here's how it's going to roll. We're going to chat for a little bit. I'm going to talk about gratitude and specifically today, what gets in the way of gratitude and some different ways we can think about that. Like that's the philosophy part of it. But then, us yogis, we like to put philosophy into action. So then we're going to do a visualization. And the visualization today is all about letting go of the crap that you no longer need in your life and actually giving you a really, hopefully, very clear and concrete way to visualize that stuff leaving you so that you can feel more abundant, happy, and in a place of maybe feeling a little grateful or at least opening the door to gratitude. So, yeah, that's it. That's how we're going to roll. So let's get started. I chose gratitude for the theme in November. Obviously, there's Thanksgiving is the thing, right? And I was thinking, well, it's harvest season. We gather with people again together about us sort of counting our blessings, if you will. But if you're like me, it's not always easy to feel gratitude, right? It can feel really hard. And one thing that's been very useful for me to realize, and my teachers have helped me to understand, is that the practice of gratitude begins with ourselves. And when we are loving and compassionate to ourselves, we set the conditions for gratitude. And generally, then our mood elevate and we can actually be more of service to other people. So I come from let me back up one second for those of you who don't know me. I teach integral yoga, and my whole life is dedicated to the integral yoga tradition, which is a very interfaith, ecumenical, open, generous hearted practice that involves not only the physical practice of yoga, but also the mindset, philosophy, and just being good people and sharing that goodness with other folks. And we put a lot of energy into how we're practicing that compassion for ourselves, because the idea is if your cup is so full of compassion and gratitude, and you're like the best friend to yourself ever, then your cup is overflowing. And that overflow is then what you can give out into the world. Sometimes without even saying a word, just your presence can help people to feel soothed or uplifted or just seen. So today, let's fill up our cups a little bit. But let's talk about this. What gets in the way of gratitude? Because this gets really sticky. And when I hit this topic with my yoga students, we often really go deep in it. We'll stay a little on the surface today, but think about for a minute for yourself. What gets in the way of your gratitude? What gets in the way? Things like physical pain. It's hard to feel grateful when you have a migraine, right? Uncertainty. Oh, I don't know. A global pandemic. Fear, anxiety, trauma, someone being abusive towards you. all of those conditions can make it really challenging to feel grateful. So we have these kind of two things. We have a response to a negative event, a response to a negative event. I'm just going to move this because it's about to fall off the edge. You can still see me? Yes, cool. So it's either a response to a negative event or it's like a protective measure. When we feel anxiety or fear, that is usually a protective measure. A boundary has been violated, something is happening that's not cool, so our defenses go up, and that's supposed to be a transitory state that we move on out of. The problem that happens for us, as we know, if we get stuck in those feelings of trauma, abuse, neglect, physical pain, emotional pain, when we get stuck in those patterns, that hinders us from moving forward. And here's the deal. I'm not going to suggest today that we just practice gratitude and like rainbows and kittens will magically make all those problems go away, because that's not how it works. And that's a level of what we now call spiritual bypassing, which is just this sort of like practice gratitude. Be grateful you have a migraine. Be grateful that person abused you. Not suggesting that at all. What I'm suggesting is that if we treat ourselves with compassion, we open the door to a different relationship to our lives. So again, when we treat ourselves like we are our own best friend, as my beloved teacher, Sonia Sumar, always says, founder of Yoga for the Special Child, when we treat ourselves with that deep compassion, we open the door towards a different relationship with ourselves. And when that happens, things can start to shift. So here's what we're going to actually do, because this is like a lot of great, it sounds great, but like, what do you do? Like, it sounds great. I'm going to be more compassionate to myself. Let's get to some actual practice, and a meditation visualization will do that will help to train your mind to do exactly this sort of lofty ideal I'm laying in front of you. So I'm going to tell you a story about a maple tree. I wish I could pan to it. It's just beyond this window over here, but the light will not let me capture it on the live video. So I will paint a picture with my words of this beautiful maple tree on our property and talk to you a little bit about it as an image and how the maple tree functions. Then we're going to use that maple tree in a visualization exercise to help train you in letting go of difficult, stuck negative emotions or physical perceptions, whatever you need to let go of. And then we'll move on to another level of meditation. So we got a maple tree story coming, then we're going to do a visualization, and then another whole body scan meditation. And that'll be the thing. So a little bit more a story philosophy then about this attitude of sort of compassion and how to look at what gets in the way of experiencing gratitude or being grateful. So there's this beautiful maple tree on our property. There's many, but there's one at the top of the driveway that's just absolutely stunning. And here in November in New England, we've had a lot of days where with high wind, but luckily the maple trees were still green and they didn't lose their leaves. But now we're getting just the right light and temperature. So the leaves are brilliant, brilliant yellow. So if you can imagine a tree that is, let's see, our barn is about 2 stories high. So this tree is probably 3 stories high. So the tree is 3 stories high and so wide that my arms, if I hug it, don't go all the way around. And it is covered, you guys, in the most brilliant gold leaves. They look like the total sum of all the energy of the sun throughout spring and summer and early fall, just in these leaves. The color is just, take your breath away. And the whole tree is covered. So when it's backlit, it's like, oh, you can hear the angels singing. So this morning I walked up the driveway with my little cup of coffee. I'm like, whoa, look at that thing. It's crazy. My dog is running all around, and I stop and I look, and it's losing its leaves. And it's amazing how easily this maple tree drops its leaves. I'm like, I wish I could do it like that. Just one at a time, drops it. And what's so cool is that they drop them and the stem, I guess, is heavier than the leaf. So the stem points down And then the maple leaf itself is like that little parachute thing. And so they sort of do this swirly dance as they fall down. When I fall down, it's not so graceful. It's more like a face plant. But they really release. It's like this beautiful spiraling parachute of gold, beautiful sunshineness falling down. And there's an absolute carpet all over. But let's look at that analogy a little further of letting go. So first of all, it lets go with grace. It lets it go. What happens in the woods then when these maple trees release? So they release the leaves. The leaves fall to the earth. And that earth, which is now pretty much maple leaves about this deep, we love to go kicking through them in the fall, over winter and next spring, those very leaves become earth itself, right? They decompose, all the fungi get in there, and it creates this nice, beautiful layer that feeds the earth and feeds the maple tree for future growth and all the other plants and fungi and animals that live in the ecosystem. So by letting go then, this maple tree provides a source of nourishment for itself. It provides the conditions for its own future growth. Kind of cool. So I'm suggesting here today that maybe we can start to think about our own relationship to anything that's getting in the way of us feeling grateful, to think of those blocks as the very source of nourishment for gratitude ourselves. Again, not minimizing them or bypassing them or saying it's okay if someone did something nasty to you. No, not at all. However, internally changing our orientation to looking at each of those events or physical, mental, emotional pain as an opportunity to discover a new relationship to ourselves. Make sense? Yes? No? Maybe so? Drop me a comment, or you can always drop me an email or a text or shout it out into the universe. What? I don't understand. I'm always available to talk more about this stuff. You can find me at gitabrown.com. There's the contact page there. Reach out, direct message me. However, I'm here to serve. So that's just a little image. So what I'd love to do for our actual meditation and practice today then is to use that image of the maple tree. And we're going to do a visualization. So just a little word before we do the visualization. Sometimes in these Wednesday mornings, I do a meditation. And meditation tends to be, and again, from my lineage of integral yoga, a bit more of a one-pointed meditation where we would focus on a mantra or breath flowing in and out or observing the thoughts. But there'd be some one source that we really focus on as a concentration aid. Visualization, to my mind anyway, and I believe I'm representing my lineage correctly here, is a bit more imaginative. It's using the fullness of our senses and really imagining vivid scenes in order to induce different thought patterns that are more beneficial to us feeling good. So visualization tends to be a bit more, it's imagery based and it's imagination play rather than a one-pointed concentration technique of a meditation like a mantra repetition or breath. So we're going to use a maple tree visualization and I'll guide you through that. And then after that, we're going to let our bodies actually experience letting go as well. Because as I said, today's all about what's getting in the way of our gratitude, any things we need to let go of. A nice way to practice this philosophy of letting go or changing our relationships to that which is blocking our feeling of gratitude is to physically go through our body and train it to release body part by body part. It's literally like embodying letting go. So instead of being in this clenched, like, I am ready to rip someone's throat out, I'm so angry. Seeing if we can at least in our own physical shell, give ourselves some compassion, be our own good friend, and let those physical blockages release. And in doing that, it can have a nice psychological benefit as well. But experiment, see how it works for you today. This is all just to experiment and to see what happens. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no way that you should feel while we do the visualization. Whatever comes up is just whatever comes up. There is literally no right or wrong sensation or emotion or impression you should be having. It's all an experiment in how to get to know yourself better. So do a little something to get comfy. You can sit, you can stand, you can lay down. If you're listening to this while you're cleaning the kitchen or whatever, maybe stop for just a minute because it's hard to visualize if you're doing something else. And I like to just do a little, what I'm doing right here, a little side to side, one side to the other. It can be really nice to do a little twist. Usually we go to the right and then to the left because that helps digestion. And you can do a little what we call seated cat-cow, just rounding and opening. Maybe some breath starts to happen. I like to settle in before I do a visualization, kind of cue my body that it can kind of let go of weird holding. So you can follow me with what I'm doing here or just do whatever movements feel good. You can turn the head side to side. Just think you're kind of unwinding tension here before we visualize. I have to say, part of where I got this idea to meet with you guys at noon is that the ashram where I train, Satchidananda Ashram in Yogaville, Virginia, every day at noon, the whole ashram shuts down for meditation. So we all stop whatever we're doing and we go to the shrines or the temples and we meditate. And has a profound effect on my life. So I thought, ooh, we can do that together on the interwebs. All right, so let any movement settle down, get those shoulders relaxed. If you're seated, have the feet on the floor if possible. If not, no worries. You can imagine it when we get to that visualization part. Make sure that your shoulders can kind of soften. The hands are relaxed. Let the neck be relaxed. Have a little check that the belly is soft. The jaw can relax and your gaze can come to the floor. You can close the eyes if you like, or you can even lay down. Do whatever feels good. And if at any point from here on out, you need to move around a little bit or do something to make yourself feel comfortable, go ahead. The next 15 minutes is all for you, just to be a good friend to yourself. Start to remove any obstacles that are in your way of experiencing gratitude and ease. And just to spend a few moments connecting to yourself. If you like, you can take a deep breath in and a slow, deep exhale, fully exhaling. Inhaling whatever you need to help you relax a little. Exhaling any stress and tension, any busyness from the day, just letting it go on the exhale. And just one more breath in. And out. Now I'm going to use the sound Om, which is just a nice humming vibration to bring our awareness into the present moment. If you've never Om'd before, I encourage you to give it a try and see what happens for you. Treat all of this just like an experiment. Do 3 Oms and then our visualization. And now bringing into your mind's eye a beautiful, and seeing this tree as one of your favorite trees you've seen this autumn or any autumn. Feel as though all of your, so you can feel your feet standing on the earth. You can feel the cool air of autumn on your skin. Maybe even you smell a little wood smoke or the crisp scent of autumn. As the wind blows through the leaves of the trees, you can hear how dry they are, how they, gazing up at, so vivid that you can almost see every single leaf as they're illuminated in their autumn color. And there be whatever is the perfect color for your tree and your visualization. And then a little distance away from this tree, imagine a beautiful, well-tended campfire. You can even hear it popping and hissing and crackling. Seeing that beautiful, well-contained campfire a distance away from the tree. Feet are on the earth, cool autumn air on your skin, seeing the vivid colors of this tree illuminated in the autumn sun. And now imagine that each leaf on this tree represents anything that is no longer useful to you. Physical pain, disease, mental difficulties, relationships, old thought patterns, stuck emotions, anything you feel that, oh, I do not need to carry that anymore. See that each leaf is a part of this letting go. And one by one, see the leaf release from the tree, gently drift to the campfire, and gracefully burn and transform and be released. One by one, each leaf floats from the tree over to the campfire, sizzles and crackles, and is transformed and released. One by one, each thought, pain, worry, fear leaves the tree, gracefully floating over to, and is gently transformed. And knowing that these ashes of the fire will go back to the earth and nourish new growth whenever the time is right. Simply seeing in your mind's eye each leaf, each pain, tension, trauma, pattern, emotion, or habit releasing from the tree, dancing over to the fire, and transforming. Do this one by one until the whole tree has let go. One by one, releasing. Feel yourself standing on the earth before this beautiful tree that can now rest and be free of all that was blocking its experience of life and gratitude. Gradually let these images fade. And just let the image of the tree and the fire just fade away. And draw your awareness now through training this art of letting go through your body. It's not necessary that you feel any certain way or that you actually feel each body part perfectly release, only that you practice the process of release. Just like training riding a bike or a language, you can train your body and mind with compassion to release. So bring your awareness down to your toes. You can wiggle them a little bit, stretch them a little so you can feel them. Take a breath in, hold the stretch of the toes. Exhale, and with the touch of your awareness, allow the toes to release. And using this light of your awareness, send a mental message to the bottoms and tops of your feet to release. Awareness moves through the ankles, calves, and shins, allowing them to release. Awareness moves through the knees and upper legs, releasing any tension, practicing in your body, letting go of whatever is getting in the way of you being you. Now the light of awareness moves through your hips, releasing them. Shoulders, arms and elbows release. Lower arms, wrists, thumbs, first finger, third finger, palms and backs of the hands release. Now awareness of the low belly, from deep inside out, the entire abdomen. This touch of your awareness and moves towards release. The chest, in between, even that great. Your heart releases. Collarbones and neck, throat and jaw, cheeks, lips and tongue, nose, eyes, forehead, temples, ears, inner ears, sides of the head, back of the head, top of the back of the head, and top of the head release. Whole body is released. Bringing your wrist, being aware. Feeling that connection to yourself, strengthening. Using all of those things that have challenged you as an opportunity to be grateful, to learn and grow into who you really are. When we let go of tension, pressure, and strain, we can uncover our true selves, the beauty of you as you. And then to release the visualization, you can just simply take a breath in and out. Bring your awareness back to the room. You can move around a little bit, knowing that you can take the benefits of this visualization with you wherever you go and whatever you do for the rest of the day. It will continue to resonate throughout your day. I encourage you to use that image of that maple tree releasing the leaves into the fire. It's a nice little psychological tune-up sometimes when you have a couple minutes downtime. Just stuff that we accumulate during our day, let it go before it gets too stuck and before it covers up too much of who you really are. Because who you really are is peace, joy, equanimity. And it's my pleasure and honor to spend a little time nudging ourselves towards feeling that which we already are. So thank you for spending part of your day with me. This was just lovely. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can drop a message in the comments on YouTube. You can private message me on Facebook. You can always email me, gita@gitabrown.com. I'd love to hear from you guys. Always here to serve. So have a beautiful day. Know that I'm grateful for you. Uncover your natural beauty, people. Be the naked maple tree. Okay, my friends. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace to you all. Have a beautiful day. Happy Wednesday. See you next Wednesday right here at noon. Mwah. Much love. Peace. Yes, end.